Hello everyone! This fanfiction is called Meant to Be. This one is chapter 2. If you haven't checked out the first one, the link will be down below. So without further ado, let's begin. Naruto jolted up in his bed. It was the same dream again. Naruto had had the dream quite often, not every day, but every week. He buried his head under the covers and exhaled deeply. He hated that dream the most. It was his worst nightmare to be ignored and hated by his friends like that. The dream was his nightmare also for the fact that always in the end he was alone. His parents died when Naruto was little, and he had never had a proper family. No one wanted to take care of him. I mean, who would? He was the vessel of the nine-tailed fox after all. Naruto didn't understand it perfectly himself. He just smelled things that normal people didn't. For example, he could smell if someone had come to his apartment if he was away. But why Naruto? Why he had to be the vessel of the nine-tailed fox? There wasn't anything special about him. He was just born in the wrong time and place. Naruto really missed his parents sometimes, even though he never knew them. He just missed the feeling of somebody caring about his well-being. The third Hokage had cared about him, giving him allowance and all. But he didn't really have time for Naruto. Naruto stood up and hit the off button from his alarm clock. He really wasn't in the mood to go on a mission today. They needed to guide somebody somewhere. He hoped it wouldn't be the same kind of mission they went with the bridge builder. After Naruto did all his morning things, he still had 30 minutes before they would meet with Team 7. He decided to go to Sasuke's house. Even though they were rivals, Naruto enjoyed his company. Somehow, every time Naruto was sad, scared, or lonely, Sasuke's presence was enough to calm him down. Maybe it was Sasuke's scent, or then it could be Sasuke's calm appearance. He never shows too much emotion, and in that he was the straight opposite of Naruto. Naruto always showed his feelings. Before Naruto knew it, he was outside of his door and walking to Sasuke's apartment. Maybe Sasuke overslept and would be glad that Naruto was there to wake him up. Or then not. He could also beat Naruto to death for coming to his house. Luckily, it was really early, and Naruto could walk on the streets without any cloak or hood. He let his blonde hair to bathe in the first rays of sunlight. It was 3:40 a.m. and Naruto had 20 more minutes to go before the meetup. He remembered that there was a street what would save him 5 minutes, and he doubted there would be any suspicious people at that hour, so it was a win-win. The street was not a friendly neighborhood and reeked like cigarettes, but Naruto didn't care. It couldn't be anything worse than he had already experienced. Curtains in front of the windows were all closed and no one was around. Naruto relaxed a bit. It had been a long time since he was able to walk on the streets with ease. Always there was someone who recognized him, and always there was someone who hated him before even knowing him. Suddenly, Naruto heard a whiz next to his ear. Then he felt pain in his forehead. "Watch your head, you filthy little fox!" he heard someone say, followed by laughter from at least 2 people. Naruto panicked. He looked down and saw a rock that was dripping with some light liquid. There was also some warm liquid going down his face. Naruto cursed the fact that his forehead protector was hanging in his neck because he had been too lazy to put it on. It was weird that his wound was still bleeding because normally the Kyuubi healed his wounds in a heartbeat. Lucky for Naruto, he always carried a small first aid kit with him for these kind of cases. Naruto didn't hear the voices of the rock throwers anymore, So he backed up a little and sat on a wooden box. He took out a small mirror and looked at the wound. It was weird. Normally, if the Cupid didn't heal the wounds, he at least stopped the bleeding. Now the wound just kept bleeding, no matter how much Naruto tried to clean it up. He took out bandages to wrap around his head. Naruto hoped it would stop the bleeding. The wound wasn't big though, so it was weird how it didn't close. He put on his headband to cover the bandage. The last thing he needed was to the Team 7 to know about how he was vandalized when he was alone.